So hello my friends, Devaun Lennox here, PhotographyPX. In today's video we'll cover the main highlight features and do an overview of Olympus's PEN E-PL10. Do know you can find timestamps and links in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment. And also know this is not a sponsored video. Let's get started. Released in the fall of 2019, the Olympus PEN E-PL10 is the latest entry into the PEN lineup, and it's the company's latest entry-level camera aimed squarely at beginners wanting to upgrade their smartphones, but an upgrade characterized by good looks and a sleek, fashion-forward design. It officially replaces the previously released PEN E-PL9, released 1 year prior, and it comes to rejuvenate the beloved PEN lineup. But on paper, it looks nearly identical to its predecessor and offers virtually no improvements, which is interesting considering the PEN 9 is already quite affordable and well reviewed. Even so, this camera comes to market to compete with Fujifilm's X-A7, Nikon's D3500, Sony's A6100, and Canon's EOS M200. It obtains its predecessor's 16.1 megapixel Live MOS Micro Four Thirds size sensor, the same used on the PEN 8, and it also receives its TruePic version 8 image processor, originally taken from the flagship EM1 Mark II. While unchanged here, the image quality remains excellent for the class, but do know this camera does offer less resolution than its peers at 16 megapixels versus 24 megapixels as the standard, so it isn't apt for the large format printing. Even so, it's surely a notable upgrade over today's flagship smartphones, which is ultimately this camera's key competition. It obtains the highlight and shadow control from the PEN F, letting you adjust the tone curve to alter the brightness of the highlights or shadows. It receives the 2x digital teleconverter, and the TruePic version 8 processor yields identical continuous shooting speeds as the PEN 9. In this case, the camera still provides 8.6 frames per second with the mechanical shutter, or 14.1 frames per second using the electronic shutter. In both modes, do so without autofocus and a locked exposure and white balance following the first frame. Alternatively, you can drop down to a continuous low setting of 4.8 frames per second, which maintains autofocusing. The buffer depth is also identical as the PEN 9, and the camera provides a 14-shot raw buffer before slowing, which is about average for the class. On the video front, it obtains identical video capabilities as its predecessor, which was the first release to bring notable advancements to the PEN lineup. With that, it shoots 4K UHD video up to 30 frames per second at 102 megabits per second, and 1080p Full HD video up to 60 frames per second at 52 megabits per second. And it shoots both resolutions to the MOV format with H.264 compression. Both also have a full sensor readout, making them entirely free from a crop. Additionally, you can also apply effects during recording, like the art fade, old film, and more. The camera also obtains the high-speed mode, which records 720p HD videos at 120 frames per second, played back at 30 frames per second for 4x slow motion video. It also obtains the movie clips mode, a silent shooting option, and you can save still images from a 4K video using the in-movie image capture option. It obtains the same native ISO range of ISO 200 to 25,600 as the PEN 9 and 8, and its low light performance is unchanged. As such, users can still expect usable images up to ISO 6400 or videos up to ISO 1600. For focus, it obtains the same autofocusing system as its predecessor, which first overhauled the lineup. In this case, it's the 121-point high-speed imager AF system with face and eye priority AF and supports -2 EV. Like the PEN 9 though, this is a contrast detection-based autofocusing system, but it generally locks on quickly, consistently, and accurately when shooting stills. The camera also obtains focus magnification and peaking if you prefer manually focusing. It obtains the long-standing BLS50 battery used on much of the PEN range, but battery life remains excellent for an entry-level mirrorless camera, and Olympus rates the battery to provide 350 shots per charge or 140 minutes of video recording. For displays, this camera obtains the same 3-inch tilting touchscreen LCD used on both the PEN 9 and PEN 8, and it also has the same resolution of 1.04 million dots and flip-down articulation, letting you position it 180 degrees downward for front-facing selfies, but it also tilts upwards about 80 degrees, which is helpful when shooting flat lays or low-level shots. Plus, it receives the same touch capabilities too. The list includes touch focus, touch shutter, exposure compensation changes, playback, and art filter selection. Physically, it maintains a similar fashion-forward styling and design as the PEN 9 and 8, but at first glance, you'd be hard-pressed to differentiate this camera from the PEN 9, as the two are identical. They share the same dimensions, design, and weight at 332 grams body alone, but this is not necessarily a con. Instead, the nostalgic appeal known to this lineup makes its return, which we welcome, as this is arguably the most attractive camera at this particular price point. So it's good to see the return of the top-mounted knurled dials, which offer a tactile feel, along with the embossed Olympus logo and magnesium alloy frame. Additionally, it's kept the improved grip from the PEN 9, which was slightly larger than the PEN 8. It also keeps the larger mode dial, leatherette wrapping, and the familiar control set too. Otherwise, it also features Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity, a built-in pop-up flash, panorama, focus bracketing, HDR, multiple exposures, keystone compensation, Olympus's lifetime features, and time-lapse recording. It also obtains the e-portrait mode from its predecessor, a fully silent electronic shutter, the anti-shock shooting mode, and the photo story mode. In the end, the Olympus EPL10 is a repackaged EPL9 with one notable addition of art filter fine-tuning, but otherwise it remains unchanged from the PEN 9. Even so, respecting its starting price, it's an interesting option for beginners, and even while untouched, it still best rivals in several areas, namely style, image stabilization, and advanced functionality. However, it does remain behind in autofocusing performance and general image quality, so it's not quite the perfect option. That said, it's a relevant camera nonetheless for those wanting a stylish upgrade over a smartphone, and it keeps the retro and nostalgic look loved in the PEN series, yet it couples it with a proven feature set, compact design, and an attractive price. So if you're looking for something well-rounded and fashionable despite the learning curve, this is your camera. So there you have it, my friends. There are the highlights and the overview of Olympus's EPL10. For more information on the EPL10, check out our website, photographypx.com, and there you will see a full detailed written review, as well as other reviews that may be of interest to you. You can also look at the pinned comment in the description down below, and I'll take you right to the full review. I've been your host, Devaun Lennox. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found the contents of today's video insightful and it added value to you. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Also, leave us a like and a comment in the description down below. Let us know if we overlooked something or we missed something that we covered in today's video. I've been your host, Devaun Lennox. PhotographyPX.com.